Good afternoon. This is Critical Talk with Professor Aminah Al-Deen. And today, probably like yesterday, all of us are still talking about the horrible debate. But again, and persistently, and I hope that it continues, we have in the news ongoing efforts at social justice, efforts at reforming the police departments. How can we best move forward with that? And in all of that, we cannot forget the young African American men, some of whom have given their lives, some of whom have had their lives totally compromised by the events that have gone on. I have the pleasure this evening of talking with Mr. Jacob Blake Sr., who is an African American Muslim out there in the community. We've talked about him um, on loads of TV shows. People have asked intelligent questions and not so intelligent questions of a man who has a lot to talk about and lots of thoughts, in addition to giving us information about his son and keeping us up to date. So, we have a range of things that we're going to talk about this evening about faith and spirituality, about how Jacob Blake Jr. is doing, how the family is doing, and then his thoughts on all of the social issues that are ranging from sports to Fortune 500 companies to everywhere, education, the hospitals, everything that I know Mr. Blake Sr. has loads of thoughts about, in addition to what is personally happening to him. So I would like to welcome Mr. Jacob Blake Sr. to Critical Talk. He is a graduate of Winston Salem College, and for those of you who don't know, it's an HBCU. I only got to visit there once. I went to Lincoln, up the road a little piece, but
Okay.
got to visit there once, and I must admit the people were very, very friendly. And you know, some very good friends of mine, which is how we were able to invite you on the show. And I can see in your face you look a little tired.
Well, um, you don't have children
Yeah.
without being tired.
And
So Allah has blessed me with 8 sons and 5 daughters. So I
oh,
have 17 grandchildren. So I look tired every day.
oh my God. I don't even want to think in those numbers. That's really hard for me as a mom and as a grandma, because you just sucked all the energy out of me with the numbers.
Right. Well, I have a whole tribe. I have a
You
tribe, my
do,
own
you do,
tribe.
you do. But let me first ask, how is the family bearing up under all of the pressures?
Well, fortunately, when you have a family of my size, we tend to catch each other's back.
Yeah.
And for those that have problems or are weak, they're more there to help them and overcome problems.
Hmm.
And we've done that for years. So when one person has a problem, we all have a problem. So
That's
dealing with it
the blessing.
as a crew is much easier than dealing with it by yourself.
Exactly, exactly. And you were telling me earlier that your son is doing better in one of the most positive ways there can be. Would you like to speak about that a little bit?
Well, the Creator has blessed us all with an understanding of self.
Mm,
It's just tapping into that understanding of yourself allows you to gather peace when
yeah.
you understand yourself. So he's understanding his limitations and becoming peaceful with that choice to accept it. See,
Yeah.
you can know something, but accepting it can be another
Whole
something.
another thing.
And then when you don't accept it, you feel turmoil in your life.
That's true.
Well, he's accepting it, so he's becoming at peace with what he has to deal with to whatever length it extends. You never it's mashallah, it's Allah's will.
Yeah.
It's not our will. This
Yeah.
is his. We're
Yeah.
just here.
Yeah.
Inshallah, one day Jannah. But we're here to fulfill what he's set up for us to do. So this was part of his life, part of his story that he had to accept. And he's accepting it, but he is in paralysis from the waist down.
Hmm. And still in the hospital.
He's in a recovery, one of the world renowned recovery spinal clinics.
Hmm. When he's thinking, and I don't know that he's speaking out yet. How does he see himself, or how do you see him, is a better question, in a trajectory of things we got to change?
Well, what we first have to address is the two systems of justice.
Mm.
There's justice for white people, and then our system is just us.
You got that right.
So
Uh-huh.
we have to address it, and if we do not address it, then it will be our downfall because then they will set up laws that will not include us. We demand. We're not asking. We demand to be included. We demand to be looked at as human beings. We demand to be addressed. I'm tired of asking. We waited too long. We've been waiting. Just hold on. Well, I'm tired of waiting.
Yeah. How would you suggest, and this is just speculating along the line, um, how do we begin? I know one of the things that is important is to hear voices in the streets. But as you and I have both seen, then Trump and others support vigilantism, coming out with under the false claim that they're protecting buildings to fight off the protesters. What do we do with that?
What what is happening is they're taking advantage of a situation.
Yeah.
The situation is hot. So when the situation is hot, you can pretty much stir the soup whenever you want to, and the vegetables and the meat will spread out in the soup. So
Mm,
you can't take a finger and point it directly at what you want to point it at because the soup is floating.
yeah. Yeah.
So you can keep spreading the stuff and stirring it around. If it's hot enough, it'll mix right on in with the soup.
Yeah.
So they've taken advantage of a soup and added more hatred
Yeah.
because it understand this has nothing to do with anything other than hatred. It's true hatred and fear of what they do not know. Instead of becoming a police department that goes into the neighborhoods and gets to know the brown skinned people that they police,
Yeah.
they are fearful of those people. So their reactions are based upon fear, not a reaction of what they know. So if you are unknowing and fearful, that makes you dangerous.
Hmm. So how, we can't, well, black folks have been asking at least for excuse me, since the 60s, for there to be community policing. Know the people that live in the communities that you police. You'll know who belongs there, who doesn't belong there. People are more willing to talk to you if you're around the communities that you police. You're not going to just shoot people, you're not going to suspect. like they did with your son. Well, he's reaching for a gun to shoot me, which doesn't excuse shooting you 7 times in the back, but you're least likely to expect some harm to come to you if you know the people. But on
Right.
the other hand, is it the fear that is ratcheting up stuff so that you just shoot till there are no more bullets in your gun at somebody?
Well, you know, it becomes an interesting question. My son was not violent. He wasn't being violent. He was simply walking away.
Yeah,
Now, the first shot, you would have said, well, okay, maybe he was a little overzealous. The second shot, you would have started thinking, what's he trying to do? By
yeah,
the time the fourth shot happened, you knew he was trying to kill him.
yeah,
All right. Now, he hit my son with 7 shots.
right.
And in his interview with his statement from his lawyer, he lied. He said none of the shots hit my son directly in the back. Well,
Why?
we'll find. You'll find
Are
out.
you serious?
You will find out. I'm not gonna. I'm not. And that's the last thing I'm gonna say that is related to the case.
Okay.
You will find out. But I read his statement that was released by his lawyer. So if you're lying in the pre-statements, then we're prepared for your lies in court.
Mm. I was disheartened um, to think about also Breonna Taylor, and now I've got black district attorneys lying. You know, I've
Well, he's not a district. He's the attorney general of the state
you
of
lie.
Kentucky.
No, 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 no. Are you kidding me?
He's a black attorney general of the state of Kentucky, and he's as lying as they come. And I called him out when I went to Louisville, and I'll keep calling him out. I fear no man. I fear the will of the law.
But
So
why?
they got the right one, baby. I'll tell you whatever you want to hear, sister.
Yeah, but now we have, thank God, a juror, a grand jury.
The juror spoke up,
Yeah,
so you know he was lying.
yeah,
He never called that sister's name, and I said it in Louisville. I
yeah.
said you never even said her name.
Couldn't say it.
You said that there were shots. You arrested an officer for shooting, or you brought him up on charges for shots that missed Breonna and
Yeah,
almost hit the white people's apartment, but you didn't charge the officers for the bullets that hit Breonna.
yeah.
Now, if that's not two systems of justice,
It
then
is.
I'll eat my hat with a little salt and pepper.
Yeah. So as we forge ahead, digging deep into faith, um, knowing that Allah is gonna straighten stuff out, but that we also have a job to do in the here and now. How do we begin? Because the young people are just all over the place. They um, know this is bad. Their reactions are sometimes without thought. Many of the times I've been surprised at how much thought they put in there. But how do we assist them
The
instead?
way that we assist them is we have to understand that for over 400 years we have been put under persecution. 400 long years.
Wrong.
We have tried for over 60 years only one way. Well, if you continue to do something over and over and get the same results,
Yeah, exactly. Something wrong with us.
so
Uh-huh.
something is wrong with us.
Yeah.
So understanding that the system is broken. I'm a contractor by trade. I
Yeah.
owned my own company for 30 years, 33 to be exact.
Wow.
If something is broken, let's say a building is broken, you gut the building and you start all over again, because certain problems are going to continue to happen unless you level that building and you start from the beginning. The foundation must be sturdy. Well, if the building is bad to the foundation, you tear the building down, you dig out the old foundation, you level the ground, and you build another foundation to make it work. The system is broken. Now, it's just that people don't want to take the time to rebuild the system. Well, that's not my fault. You didn't include us from the beginning. You only said we were 3/5 at the beginning. So you tried to build it, you tried to rewrite it, and you didn't rewrite it all the way, because the system still sees us as 3/5 of a man,
right,
and treats us as is. So until we address the entire system, you cannot take bits and pieces. It's like patching streets in Chicago in the wintertime.
oh please,
It's only going to make a larger pothole.
exactly.
So if you don't, in the summertime, resurface that street, grind it down so that it will be flat and plain, then that street will never recover, and it will continuously show with potholes at sometime in the year. So we are full of potholes in the system that we are tied into. And until they resurface and redo it, we're caught in that system of justice.
You know,
And no one is giving us the opportunity to even say that we want to get out of this system. Nobody's given that to us.
yeah,
They haven't afforded us that opportunity. So we are continuously fed that through the miseducation of our children. They teach Black history for 1 month. You could teach Black history all year and never be done with the history that is contained in the Blackness where we are.
yeah,
I never have to open a European history book and teach you anything about Europe as long as I'm teaching you about Africa. But you have no understanding of self. So they use that as a disadvantage against us. We have no shield because we have no pride, because we have we don't, it was said by, who said that we're so dismissed, we're so misplaced we're so far from Africa, we have no memory.
right.
But then James Baldwin, but then we have no justice here in America. We have no loyalty. What is African American? We don't know Africa, and we get no justice here in America. So how can we be African American? They don't treat us like it. We're not American.
Right.
So what are we? We're caught in this ugly quandary. We don't even know what it is. We don't know what it is.
Mm.
Because we don't know who we are, where we're from, because they don't teach it in school. If you're not taught that from a young age, we learn European history. Well, I don't have anything to do with European history. Those people that you're talking about don't look like me. You don't tell when you taught world history back in the 70s and the 60s that Egypt, those people were brown. You don't show them that, you just say Egypt. It was almost like Egypt wasn't even a part of Africa.
Right.
You understand? So if you know that you come from queens and kings and mighty villages and mighty warriors, and if you knew who Shaka Zulu was and you knew what he stood for, then you would have a different outlook on yourself, because self-esteem and self-pride are what we lack. But they did that purposefully.
Yeah.
You know, Pavlov explains to you the conditioning theory.
Yeah.
Well, they've taken the meat away a long time and still ringing the bell, and we still salivating.
Still running. That's very true. So sad, but so true. Let me take a minute or two break so you can adjust your light, but so I can.
I'm trying. Something wrong with this light.
Okay, we'll take a minute or
Okay.
two and adjust it. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Better?
Uh-oh.
Better?
Yeah, they come and hook. Uh-oh, let me turn it up. Can you hear me?
Yes.
See, I can't hear you now.
Look on. Oh, are you on your computer? Or are you still on a phone?
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, but my thing's not turning up. I wonder, do I have to go out and come back in? Should I do that? They have
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Okay.
Better?
That's way better. They don't hook me up with all kind of stuff, a light and something that's holding the camera now. I feel like I'm cooking with grease now.
Oh, all right. I want to get your thoughts on where. No, I want to talk about the Muslim community because
Yes.
I've seen you and admired your poise with all of these reporters who would not have had anything to say to anybody in our community, except for a tragedy. What and how do Muslims, there's a lot of anti blackness in the Muslim community. And Muslims, uh, ask questions like, well, before, how is he? Is he still living? Their question is, what did he do? So, what that says to me is that there's a lot of anti blackness in our faith community, which is why I was reaching out to you today, trying to grab you before somebody else grabbed you again. Um, and say, well, wait a minute. Why aren't the Muslims talking to one of us? That gets, I mean, we should be talking to you for you to help the larger community understand what I rail about all the time is that many African descended folk in the Muslim community, I'm taking your stuff about America seriously, African descended folk are really ticked off with the immigrant community. How dare you not see what goes on with Black folk in the United States? I know you came because it was the land of plenty and you could earn a whole bunch of bucks sometimes on my back. But how could you not see the injustice?
Well, that's because they're injected with the white rhetoric, the rhetoric that they inject in the Koreans and the Chinese and the Indians about the Black community. So you can if you can take over the mind thoughts of people, you can control how people act. And that's how diabolical chattel slavery and the whole situation is, because it continues to go on till today. It's never stopped. It just has metamorphosized into different creatures, different animals, different ways of, they couldn't lynch all of us. They couldn't do it.
So
but
they
they
got
tried.
in a different way. Yeah.
So so the lynching had to change. So now it's character lynching. You had all those young men locked up for marijuana, but as soon as the white boys found out how much money they could make selling the marijuana legal, it became legal.
Yes.
But on the backs of all of those that did serious time.
Yeah.
So
and are still doing it.
And still in there.
Yeah.
Why they have marijuana factories.
Yeah.
And farms.
Here in Chicago, where I am, the Black community protested because all of the licenses were given out to the white community.
Of course. That's how it works.
Yeah. So how can we throw an arrow that stays into the heart of this problem?
Well, first of all, we have to address racism in Islam.
Yeah.
We have to fight racism within our own religion. The way that Afghanis and Palestinians and Arabs look at us, right. It's like we're the bald head, redhead stepchild. We have no place to call home. So they look at us like you couldn't have been born Muslim. That's the way they look at us. Like there's a difference in taking Shahada and being born. Allah says, you never look at your enemy, because you don't know when your enemy is going to be next to you in the Salat line and be your brother.
Yeah.
He could be fighting in war with you one day, and then the next day
be right next
he's right next to you in the Salat line.
So how do we, I mean, I know that you said that the systematic nature of racism in this place indoctrinates those that come in. You don't want
It grabs them
to.
when they finish taking that test to become a citizen, or they're taking that test. Oh,
Yeah,
you're exactly what white people said you were.
yeah. But shouldn't our faith interject something there? Because the laws is speaking about a whole different agenda.
Yeah, but when you don't look like me, again, fear plays a role,
Yeah, yeah,
and fear is so powerful
yeah,
that it can make you have a whole different way of thought. That's how powerful fear is. That's why they peddle fear. That's why that orange dude peddles fear. He
yeah,
peddles it. He sells it like a crackhead, like a crack guy sells crack and
yeah.
sells fear. And it's a shame that we that are educated people and those who are not educated don't seek education to get clarity for situations.
Right.
They just are told whatever they're told, they go with. Well,
Yeah,
that's the herder theory, sheep herding. If
yeah,
you get them all in a group and you feed them, look what Jim Jones did. He had them drinking the purple Kool-Aid.
yeah.
Those people are drinking the purple Kool-Aid for the cat that's in D.C. And they don't even know they're drinking the purple Kool-Aid.
Well, we got about 33 days or so before voting. And I don't know if you could get up the whatever to watch the debate the other night. I kept switching back and forth between everything else I could find to not hear these two old white guys who one is the orange guy you said who peddles fear. The other one, I'm not, well, at least he's peddling a nicer way of speaking to people. He does know some things about people got to have housing, people got to have health care, people got to eat. At least he knows that much. But in the Muslim community, we got Muslims who are talking about either they're going or listening rather now to the khutbah online and being told not to vote. It is not, Muslims don't vote. Then they're being told that all of this chaos that you see in the street are literally black folk acting up again. How do we say stuff that uh, clarifies?
Well, first of all, we have to understand that once you become a part of a democratic society, you no longer are governed by Mohammedan law. That your voice is very important, and that if you do not vote, you're not exercising your right as a citizen to
Right,
vote. We are
right.
part of this uh, society now, regardless if interest rates and interest on loans is wrong. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's in Mohammedan law. We're a part of this society. So we have to, we don't draw on the foods that they eat, but in order for you to be a part of this society, you have to figure out how you're going to skirt around things and become
Mm-hmm.
a better you. But you still have to, you keep your Islam, but you're not going to just let people run over you. And if you don't exercise your vote, then what you feel can be turned against you.
That's true.
And we're not in a Islamic society,
Right.
so we must interact with the society to get our voices heard,
Yeah,
to get our rights as human beings.
that's
You
true.
know, it's not. it's not cut and dry in a democracy. You
That's
know,
true.
there's no. It's your opinion means a lot. What you vote for means a lot. Who's going to sit around and get run over?
Yeah. But they're offering, like when Trump and some of his minions jumped up and they got Israel to grant visas. So all the many of the Palestinians, not all, many of the Palestinians here will say, "Oh, well, I'm going to vote for Trump because he's going to do something for Palestine." Well, Palestine is not the United States where you get your bread and butter. So if you're getting your bread and butter here, then you have to make sure that here continues to exist so you can put some jam on your bread and butter.
But nobody's putting it in that perspective, sister. This has become a microwave world. They
Yeah,
want to put it on 1 minute, and then they want everything to be fixed in a minute. Well, that doesn't happen. 400 years, 401 years,
yeah,
we've been under this persecution,
that's
and
very.
we've been trying to get from underneath Mr. Johnny's fingertip for a long time, but his boots always managed to stay right on our neck
I know, and that's what made the death of George Floyd so traumatic,
because it
especially
was act that was
the boot
that's
on the neck.
actually the way it's been.
Mhm.
You know when uh, that's how it's been. That's how I felt when I watched that.
Yeah,
Tears. I couldn't even. I just. Yeah, I can't even explain to you.
my son-in-law couldn't explain. He's that's what he said. He was so discombobulated. He could not speak. Because in his younger than you and I'm sure I'm older than you, lifetime, he had never seen it up close and personal, and putting it on TV made it up close and personal, right? And then it was, well, what do I do now? What can I do now? Because what I thought I was doing now doesn't mean anything. It means that any officer who wants to pose for the latest issue of the KKK journal can put his boot on my neck and
And
in my.
kill me. The way that man put those seven in my son's back like he was an animal, man. They don't even do dogs like that.
Yes,
They'll put you in jail for executing a dog like that.
right. You don't even have
So we're
to.
so when the system is this far flawed and you don't start over again, what that means that's the way it's gonna be, boy.
So what do
But
we
we're not taking that. We're kicking down doors and
right?
we're gonna get results. Saturday morning, and sister, I didn't know you were in Chicago. I'm here right now.
I
Saturday morning, Saturday morning in Evanston, Illinois. I mean, Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock
know.
on Emerson Street in Evanston, in front of the Blake Manor, the building named after my father. We're going to march down to the corner of Emerson and Maple to a corner where my father had a building built, a retirement home for older people.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to march to there. And the reason we're marching there is because that's the last place my son and my grandchildren were we all together when they dedicated the stone to my father a year and a half ago.
Yeah, your father was quite an activist. I'm not from Chicago, but as soon as it appeared, oh, this is so and so's boy. Oh my God, And then I started hearing all of these stories about your dad. Can you tell us, just for the moment, a little bit about your dad? Because this is a legacy here.
He was, for instance, when I was in the fifth grade, no, I'm sorry, not the fifth grade, the second grade, my teacher asked everyone to write down who their heroes were. So,
Mm,
my friends in class were writing down Muhammad Ali and, uh, you know, you could Martin Luther King and all that,
Right.
Malcolm X,
Right.
I wrote down my father
Mm.
because it was simple and plain. My father went to his death fighting for others.
Yeah.
Marched for open housing here in Evanston so that you could live anywhere you wanted to live. He made old man Mary Daly build a crosswalk across 94, the only crosswalk across 94 in the city of Chicago, because a young girl was killed trying to cross the Dan Ryan to get to church, because there wasn't anything from 80, what is that? That's 91st between 95th, that gap.
Okay.
And
Okay.
nobody wanted to have to walk all the way down. If you're in the middle, you had to walk all the way down and walk all the way back up. So they
Okay.
put that walkway across there so they could come to church. And he fought the powers that be until his life ended. And how apropos for me to be fighting the powers that be for in the name of my son, with the power of my father behind me, and knowing that all my ancestors are looking out for me, and knowing that my father never, if I when I told my father when I was 7 years old that I did not believe in the Jesus story, my father told me one day I would find the truth and I would follow it with all my heart and all my soul. And I found the truth and I followed it. My father could have ruined me on that day. He could have told me, "You're going to do what I tell you to do and you're going to get in line." That's not what my father told me. That's why I've grown up to be the person that I've grown up to be. I challenge everything. I can't stand to see injustice done on people. So, with the help of Allah and His grace and His understanding and His everything, all 99,
Yeah.
He's behind me, pushing me in this direction that I know I must go. It's become a movement because of what was done to my son. Now I must keep moving with that movement, and I must take care of my son.
Yeah.
So
Well.
I've been put, not by choice, not by
Yeah.
choice, but because Allah knew I could take it. Because Allah would never put anything on you too heavy for you to bear.
Yeah. That's a hell of a burden. It just seems like before I could. I mean, we've been handling this, as you were saying, for 401 years. We may not be hanging from trees, but we're being shot dead in streets. Boots are being put on our neck. And it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. It didn't matter 400 years ago whether you're male or female. And for kids now who haven't been taught that history, they're seeing it replay itself out because we've got to do something different this time. What are we going to do? I want you to think about that. We're going to take a little quick break. Um, and I want you to think about that. What are we going to do this time that's going to be different? And I'll be back to you in a moment. This is Professor Aminah Al-Deen. I'm here with Mr. Jacob Blake Sr., and we're discussing whatever hits us, which is wonderful for me. I can't tell him how wonderful it is for me. I know he's tired, but he's taking some time out for Muslim Network TV. We'll be right back.
Oh, that's food. I like that. We ain't got
Tell them they can't talk to you yet. So where we are is trying to figure out what are we going to do that's different now.
uh, what we've never tried to do is change laws.
Well, we did a little bit in the civil rights law.
Yeah, but it came back to bite us.
And no,
We,
how about that big time?
we've never really officially tried to change laws. And I think that we need to approach it like it is a war,
It is.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's war that they've done on us.
Yeah.
It's official that it's a war.
Yes.
But
It is.
but strategically speaking, we've never tried to legislate our way through this war.
Okay.
So we must attempt all angles. And we've never really wholeheartedly because we don't even understand how important our vote is.
That's a starting point, right?
Once we understand that the vote is what the point is that is important, then but until we get there, sister, we're spinning wheels in the mud.
That's true.
We have to change things that are changed for everyone in the United States. Because if they don't see us as human beings, then we're not a part of humanity, and we're still that 3/5. So you can say that we're not the 3/5, but until you treat us like it, then we're still that 3/5.
Yeah, we're still the 3/5.
The Constitution it did not include us.
Yeah.
So when do we get included?
We have to make new law, change old ones that don't work in our behalf. But like you said, the bottom line is we got to vote. We got to vote out that district.
We have to vote our way out of this situation.
Yeah, we got to vote out that district attorney in Kentucky.
Oh, he's got to go. Mitch McConnell's got to go. He got to go. Right. Lindsey Graham's got to go because there's some lying, double talking. Look, when you lie to me once and I catch you in a lie, and then you lie, but then you continue to lie to me.
Yeah.
And just today, the brother that's running against Lindsey Graham in South Carolina, it's a statistical dead heat tie.
Oh my goodness! So they really got.
So we need to understand in South Carolina. See, they changed. South Carolina changes things. You better believe the black vote counts in South Carolina. Everybody in South Carolina understands how important that vote is.
Yeah, my husband's from South Carolina. He'll tell you how important it is. They've got to get rid of that dude, and we've got to make it a mission.
But right. It's got to be a mission. And that's why Saturday, the march that we're having Saturday is a unity march, because Breonna Taylor's family will be here joining me for that march, because it's unity. It's unity. We have to show that we're united before they recognize the fact that we stomping on their front door. We stomping. We ain't knocking. We stomping with our foot at their front door. You're going to have to let us in or we're going to kick in the door. And unity is what makes that happen. We have to set aside our differences, from the Baptists to the AMEs to the AME Zion to the Lutherans we all have to come together, from the Jewish brothers and sisters to the Armenians, to the Koreans. We have to set our differences aside, from the nations to the Sunnis. We have to set our differences aside.
And get out.
And we have to move as a unit, as an army, and move forward, taking our agenda. We're not asking you to be a part. We're telling you we're coming to be a part. And this is our agenda.
Can you, as a last word on our show, unfortunately, our time is almost up. Tell me more. Give me the time. Is Saturday.
Saturday at 3 p.m. in front of Blake Manor in Evanston, Illinois on Emerson Street.
Okay, I think I know where that is almost. Okay. And do people need to come early? Do they need to
It
bring?
starts at 3 o'clock. If you show up by 2:45, I can promise I'll shake your hand and hug you, and Brianna's family will shake your hand and hug you. We'll have masks on, and you know, we're not going to let the pandemic run us up out of here. We're not going to let the KKK run us up out of here. I've received more death threats than I've ever imagined was possible. But I'm not scared to die.
Somebody sending you a death threat. I mean,
Sister,
come on, really?
the last month I've had so many death threats and so much hate mail, you would have thought I did something to somebody.
You know, we got to talk again. So the next time you see my name on your email, or I'll call Jalil, I'll call somebody, and now I got your home phone number. I'll call you directly.
Yeah, you just call me directly. I'll pick up.
We'll have to get many in the Muslim community. I'm gonna call everybody I know here in Chicago to put it out on the wire that they need to get to Evanston on Saturday to be a part of beginning history again.
The beginning of a new history. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's the way I feel about it. My son, what happened to him is a tragedy.
Yeah.
But it's also a victory because Allah said, "La, it's not your time.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not going anywhere." Now they must look at you for the rest of your life and understand what they did to you was haram.
Right.
You're not going to go anywhere, fade into the background, because I'm not going to let that happen. You're not. There's not a dollar amount you can give me to shut up.
That's good.
Only thing you can do to me is either listen or you're going to get run over when I'm running down there and do what I got to do.
I love it. You have so fired me up now. I've got to make some calls, but I want to thank you so very much.
Oh, sister, please. You call when you call my brother, that's my brother. I'll tell you, me and him were the only two brothers from Chicago in Winston-Salem, at Winston Salem State. And we used to make up our mind on Friday, man, let's go home to eat Saturday. So we drive home Friday, stay Saturday, and head back Saturday night and be there for class on Monday.
There you go.
So
well, I will call you again. I'm going to pray that both you and all your children,
mashallah, mashallah,
have all your relatives, and that boy laying in that bed gets better, and that he continues to tap into his spiritual self, because he got it from his dad and his granddad, and he got to keep the legacy going.
Yes.
He got work to do.
Yes.
And you tell him Aminah said it. Okay. Yes, and inshallah, I will talk with you again soon.
Inshallah.
And I will pray for the best for Saturday.
Shukran. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you for having me, number one. Thank you.
No, thank you for being there. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.